Hello, hello, welcome everyone. So let me ask you this. Are you tired of awkward silences? Like when you go to say something, all of a sudden you're, and you fall silent. Do you ever stumble through conversations? Are you sick of your message getting lost in translation? Are you ready to uplevel your communication skills? Well, you're in the right place. My name is Kathy Riley, and I am your host and communication expert with over 25 years in litigation and then another 15 as an entrepreneur. Tune in as we serve up tools, systems, techniques guaranteed to change the way you connect with others, from mastering the art of tough conversations to cultivating a mindset that screams confidence. We're here to help you dominate every interaction like a pro, all while uncovering the secrets to leading yourself and others with grace and grit. At Breaking Bad Communication, we're here not just to break bad habits, but to shatter communication barriers. So, welcome today. I'm super excited because I have a fantastic guest for you all. This is Mr. Marques Allen. He is just a superstar. He is a former NFL player turned inspirational speaker. He's an author and an entrepreneur. He is the founder and CEO of Ogden Ventures, and media and entertainment company that specializes in keynote speaking, business coaching, and consulting. He is a four-time best-selling author and the host of the podcast Get Authentic with Marques Ogden. In his speaking engagements, he leads his audience to understand why authenticity creates victory by sharing his personal story, overcoming adversity, and achieving success. He is on a mission to inspire CEOs and other leaders to maximize their potential to reach their personal and professional goals. Welcome, Mr. Marques. Super excited to have you here.
Thank you, Kathy. How you doing today?
I'm living the dream. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, doing well. Just got down to Jacksonville, Florida for Jaguars Legends weekend, doing my podcast with you, then get to our hotel, me and my daughter, and then we are going to be going to a beach bowl bash this evening, somewhere on the beach so what happens is because of, guys that play for the Jaguars and every NFL team has called the Legends. And so former players can come on a select weekend and do activities, with the team and connect with former players and connect with the fans and all that kind of good stuff. And every NFL team does a really nice job of creating a really nice environment that the guys can come and bring, a guest and really have a nice time. So this is actually the first time I've actually gone to a Legends weekend since I retired back in '08. So I'm glad that my daughter will be with me to experience the fun times.
Oh, I love that. So we can call you a legend now. You're the legend.
Not the not no no. My daughter said no, can't call me that.
Well, her input is valuable, so we appreciate that. So I wanted
Yeah,
to
she said.
ask you,
Yep.
going back to, okay, you played football, high school, college, Division I college, and playing any sport. I'm not an individual that plays a lot. I am athletic, but I've never played a sport. And I would imagine a lot of our listeners never played in the NFL or any of those franchises like that. I would guess it takes a lot of discipline in order to really plug away and work on your skills to play any sport, especially at that level.
Absolutely. Discipline is everything in becoming a professional athlete. Great quote by Abraham Lincoln. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And that's what it's all about. I don't care how great you are with athletics or your natural skill, all that. That's one part of it. But your discipline, your work ethic, showing up when you're supposed to show up, getting there early, staying late. Those are things that make phenomenal football players. And for example, Jack Del Rio had a great quote. he told us when I was a 22-year-old rookie, in life, be your own CEO. And Jack made us aware that in life, we all have a choice. You have a choice to either be a okay athlete, a decent athlete, or a great athlete with your work ethic, with doing things and being disciplined. So I learned how important discipline was from the beginning, as when I was drafted to the National Football League by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, so good. So let me ask you this, because, when it comes to discipline, there also has to be a mental toughness, right? And as a communication expert, I know communicating with our audience is important, but we also have to learn how to communicate with ourselves. So we speak to ourselves at such an extreme rate compared to what we speak to others. That mental toughness. So let me ask you this, on the days that you didn't want to do it, right? You didn't want to get up, you didn't want to work out, you didn't want to do it. Take me through what you would do to shift your mindset to combat what I lovingly call the itty bitty shitty committee, our stinking thinking. How do you show up when you really don't want to?
So I always tie it back to my why. I was drafted out of Howard University to the National Football League. My dad played at Howard University on the football team. My dad and I are the only father son in the Howard Athletic Hall of Fame. And I really, anytime I was having a bad day in professional sports, I just thought about what our dad, I have a brother that's also an NFL athlete. He's actually a first ballot Hall of Famer with the Baltimore Ravens, and he was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. I think about what our dad did and how he sacrificed for us, right, Kathy, to give us the best opportunity, to give us a better life than he had. So anytime I didn't want to do something, I thought about what our dad did for us, not what our dad wanted to do for us, what our dad did for us. And that was my inspirational factor every single day to keep going forward when I was struggling or having hardship because I didn't want to do something, I didn't want to work out. And with that mindset, I always had a perfect workout attendance wherever I went. I had almost a 6-year career. I was labeled a gym rat. I'm still that way today. Like, again, I was speaking in Philadelphia. I left Tuesday. I woke up in the morning about 4 o'clock to be at the gym by 5, worked out, took my daughter to school. Wednesday was my off day. Woke up about 4:30 on Thursday morning, worked out at the gym, took a flight home at 9:40. This morning, I was tired, knew I was driving to Jacksonville, still up at 5:30, at the gym by 6:15, lifted, did all I had to do, showered, got my daughter, got in the car, boom. And so that's just who I am. Like, I don't allow anything to make me make excuses for myself. And that's the mindset I tell everybody. Communication, success, podcasting, speaking, 95% of it is mindset. If you can win that, you can win the day.
Oh, I love that. And what would you say is like a tool to help you keep positive on the days that you don't feel like it? I mean, yes, you channel your why, but is there something that you say to yourself or a tool that you pull out of your toolbox to keep that positive mindset?
I have the 3 tools that I live by: focus, lock, and attack. That always brings me back to a positive mindset. I focus on what I want. When I know what I want, I lock in on what I want. And I tell everybody, action is the foundation of success. If you're not going to take action, you're not going to attack, whatever you do or what you want to do will more than likely, unfortunately, never happen. So you have to have that ability to focus on what you want, lock in on what you want, and attack and go after what you want. As they say in the Bible, seek, knock, go, and get.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So you talked about your dad and your brother growing up and being surrounded by them, being inspired by them. Today, how important is it to you that you're surrounded by people that are on on your same passion, on your same mission that lift and inspire you?
That's why I came down here to Jacksonville. I wanted to reconnect with guys that were always positive. And I say, you need to venture out and find your tribe. And anybody that I have on my team, in my circle, I'm talking to, working with, if we don't connect or align or have a similar core values, then we're not going to jive. And I tell everybody, who you hang out with is who you become. Who you surround yourself with is who you become. That's why I'm doing this podcast. We met in Achieve Systems, and I thought you were great with your content, with your, with everything. It's absolutely amazing what you're doing. I said, yep, I want to be on your podcast. Venture out and vibe and find your tribe. If you don't do that, right, Kathy, all you're doing is staying around the same people who unfortunately aren't going to push you to greatness. Great quote by Regina King, an actress and a phenomenal movie director. The comfort zone is where dreams go to die. If you're not going to push out of your comfort zone, you're always going to get the same response or the same situation or the same outcome. Nothing will change if you don't change.
Oh, that's so good. So good and so true. And I often see dealing with, humans are complex, okay? We're complex. And communication is also complex. So I talk about the Fab Five, which you mentioned, who you surround yourself with, you are a reflection of. So just like, my mom used to tell me when I was a little girl, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. So it's important to align ourselves with people who lift, inspire, and challenge us. Now, that doesn't mean to say that we're not going to get those negative Nellies and those people in our world that are not in alignment, that bring us down. There's a study out there that talks about productivity and positive and negative mindset. So they just, in a cubicle setting, they put a positive person in there, productivity went up. They put a negative person in there but just by being in the proximate of each other, productivity went down by the negative mindset. So, in knowing that and living that way, if you find yourself around somebody who's negative, who's not in alignment, what are some of the things that you do to maintain that you're on this positive, alignment journey and dealing with the negative people?
Real simple. I remove that person from my existence. I don't need somebody around me that's going to bring me down. I don't need somebody around that's going to tell me negative thoughts or negative emotions or negative things. I don't need that. So I'm going to even entertain somebody being around me that's negative. I'm going to say, thank you very much. I appreciate your time and I wish you the best of luck. It's time for me to move on. And I don't live my life anymore for anybody else. And I'm not going to take people being in my life that bring no value to my life. That's why I
Yeah.
joined the Chief Mastermind. That's why I joined Connected Leaders Academy Mastermind. That's why we're starting our own mindset community because we want to collaborate and elevate. If you're not going to do that around me or with me, then at that point, I really don't want to have anything to do with you at that regard. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to make me better. You're not going to enhance me. And I don't need you in my life.
Oh, I love that. Love that. So good. And oftentimes when you're in leadership roles, there are individuals within our community that we can't just cut off, but we still need to navigate around them. And I often say that those people, they don't need to know everything about everything, right? Like you don't have to share, your hopes, your dreams, your goals only to hear their negativity. You can control their interaction within your world just by limiting the time and the space that you're together.
Absolutely. And you don't have to tell everybody everything that you're doing or where you're going, or everybody doesn't need to know your every move. Everybody doesn't need to know what your goals are, your aspirations are, what your plans are, because not everybody has your best interest at heart. That's why you have to be very selective with who you let into your circle on a deeper level. Can you have surface level people in your life? Sure. I want to do this in life. Sure. I want to win. I want to have this. I want to have that. Great. I want to do more. I want to do more. Great. But when you talk about like the actual tactical things you want to get done to achieve what you want, not everybody is going to want the best for you. And unfortunately, a lot of people, as they see you doing well, if they're not pushing out of their comfort zone, they're going to wish ill will on you. And what will happen is instead of taking their energy and being positive and trying to do something with their life, they take that energy and it become negative, trying to ruin your life. So be very, very careful with who you let into your circle, because your goals and aspirations, your dreams need to be guarded like a door with a lock and a key on it. Not everybody needs to be given a key to turn that lock, to open that door, to know what's really going on behind the scenes.
Oh, so good. So good. Thank you for sharing. Oh my God, juiciness we got going on here. It's so awesome. Well, and so switching gears a little bit, a lot of the world we live in, it's high tech, we've got social media and all this stuff. And what we often see in the world is the highlight reel, right? So we see everybody's joys, successes, so much goodness that happens, but there's a lot of adversity that happens behind the scenes. And and you yourself have navigated some adversity and have come on the other side. You are completely on the other side of that. Take us through a little bit of some of the adversity you've gone through and how you've gotten to the other side.
So I had to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 2013. Lost my home, foreclosed on. Both cars repossessed in the same day when we got to Raleigh. All of my money gone. The bank told me 2 days before Christmas in 2012, it was December 23rd, 2012, Marcus, we're shutting down your lines of credit. We're coming after you and we're going after whatever we can get. We're finished financing you. You're done. 2 days before Christmas in 2012. And when I got here, I was almost homeless. I'm sitting right here in Jacksonville right now. I saw this homeless couple with their little bikes, and they're doing the best they can. I can just see in their eyes, they're trying to do something better. They're living in like the woods of Jacksonville, somewhere in the Jacksonville beaches. I think to myself, I'm like, I thought to myself when you asked that question, that could have been me, 11 and a half years ago. April 2013, when I moved to Raleigh, I could have easily packed it in and said, man, I don't want to go anymore. I'm just going to take a route and just like feel sorry for myself and then just basically live a life where life is handing me what it wants to hand me. But I made a decision after having to take a job as a custodian in downtown Raleigh where somebody's trash, maggot filled meat got all over me. And that was my wake up call. And when that happened, Kathy, the light bulb turned on that I was the one that put myself here. And once I established that I was the culprit, that I was the individual that caused my failure, I said, well, now, big fella, you know who did it. Now it's time for you to actually want to step up and fix it. And that's what I did. And I started speaking in September 2013. Didn't get a paid job until April 2016. I got coached on how to be a better communicator, how to relate to people, how to have people understand me, how to bring value, not just what I want to say. It's not about me, it's about the clients, it's about the other people that you're serving. And once I figured that out and I got coached and I got developed and I worked on my communication skills, how to connect people's themes to my talks and how to take my story and make it work for them. In the last 8 years, we've spoken for over 65 Fortune 500 companies. over 65. We are a four-time best-selling author, business coach, consultant, podcaster, brand ambassador, business owner. And you know what? If you're listening, the way that we got there, along with mindset, that was 95%. The other 5% was communication and how to connect with people. You connect with people through authenticity. Don't make everybody think your life is all perfect, because again, mine is sure not, right? It's not. It's not perfect, right? For example, I was hoping to be in my hotel room doing this awesome interview. You know what, though? I love my daughter. She had to stop several times, got a little behind schedule. You get it done anyway. You
Yeah.
figure out how to get it done. And then you communicate what you know people need to hear, not what you think that you want and or need to say. There's a huge difference.
That's so good. That's so good. And it's so true. It's so true. It's communication is our again, we're human, we're complex. Communication, that power, that activity itself is complex. So what people hear and what you mean to say are two very different things. So you've got to say it in a way, and maybe multiple times, in a way that people understand the message you're trying to communicate. I mean, have you ever been in a situation where you're trying to say something and the other person just doesn't get it?
Yeah, absolutely. That was my very first Fortune 500 speaking client, NetApp. I was out there for a speech. I went and I thought, man, I did great. It was awesome. I talked about my business failure and what I had to overcome and da da da. The guy that hired me was a friend of mine, Dave Nisvisky. He said, Marques, how do you think you did? I said, Dave, man, I did. I thought it was great, great energy. And I was rolling. They loved it. He said, did anybody come up to you and ask you for a card or tell you how you did? I said, well, Dave, now that you think about it, now that you said no, they didn't. I said, okay, what does that tell you? I said, oh, what happened? Great energy, great passion, wrong topic. You were talking about business failure, construction issues to a group of doctors and nurses. They wanted to hear about football, concussions, related trauma to the brain. That was our audience. You missed the mark. I said, dang, hired me 6 months, brought me back, same company, different audience. I mean, same type of people, different people though, like same industry. Nailed it. Got my first Fortune 500 client reference letter. It was off to the races from there. But yes, to answer your question, Kathy, my very first, see again, I'm not gonna tell you, oh no, Kathy, I've been perfect all this whole time. Like, man, when I started speaking, it was gold and great. No, no, my first Fortune 500 client could have easily been my last Fortune 500 client. But I took the feedback Dave gave me, I applied it, and then the next time I did it, knocked it out of the park, and I kept building. But to answer your question, yes, I have definitely done a speech in my career where I totally missed the mark. And what I was saying, people were not comprehending.
Right. And I love that you said you took the feedback. So in reality, you say it people would think, okay, I did this, it bombed, I failed. And you took the feedback. So failure is feedback. I mean, if we were just to shift our perspective on failure, it's not a bad F word, right? Failure is just feedback. We're going to figure out how do we communicate effectively to get our message across. So, and
Correct.
that it's like practice makes brings progress, right? I don't believe in perfection, right? We're there that's unattainable, but it's just taking little shifts and little changes. It's not like you had to start all over again. You just had to make little tweaks in order to really connect with your audience.
Yes, it's about speaking in a language that they can understand. If people can understand you, they can apply what you're saying. If they can't understand you, it will go over their head. And that is the biggest problem with people trying to speak sometimes. Trying to come across as the smartest person in the room, you don't have to try to talk down to people or say jargon or words that are going to go over people's heads. Learn to speak to your audience, how they need to hear it so they can comprehend it. They can comprehend it, they can apply it. They can apply it, life can be much more rich and much more fulfilling for them. And again, it's all about them. It's not about you.
Oh, that's so good. And I often teach, train, and have been taught and trained that you speak at a fifth grade level. Like, don't try to go too high. Don't try to use the jargon. Just communicate to everyone. And they say fifth grade level is pretty. It's average. It's like it's where it's the sweet spot.
Correct. And keep it very simple. Make it sense making is one of the best things a leader can do. A leader can help people understand what to get done, how to do it, and from there, everything else takes care of itself.
So, what advice would you give a leader or someone who is hesitant in using their voice? Like public speaking is still the number one fear, right? People are just they're terrified of it. And recognizing that and navigating that fear, what advice would you give someone who's afraid to talk up and speak to their community, to their to people?
If you're not going to use your voice, don't expect anyone to connect with you or want to be led by you, period. Your voice is going to be your Willy Wonka golden ticket. It is how people get to know you, what you're about, what you believe in, your mission, your mantra, your core values, who you're looking to serve, and most importantly, why you, right? Why you? If you don't use your voice, people will never know any of these things. If they don't know these things, they can never ever follow you or be led by you because they'll have no idea if they align with you.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So we only have a few more minutes left, probably about 5 more minutes. I wanted to talk to you. So you have a podcast called Get Authentic. And what does being authentic mean to you?
Authentic slash authenticity is knowing who you are in the moment, knowing the moment is going to change. I'm not the same person I was when I was married. I've been divorced now for 2 years. I'm not the same person I was a week ago, not the same person I was yesterday. It's about growing and knowing who you are and being comfortable and confident that who you are is good enough. Not trying to be what people want, not trying to be perfect. There is no perfect. Perfection is not reality. Progress and moving forward, that's reality. So again, to me, authentic is knowing who you are in the moment, knowing that the moment is going to change.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So Mel Robbins often talks about how it's not about perfection, it's about excellence. So being the best version of you in the moment. That is, what we should strive for.
Just,
Is
so Mel Robbins is my mentor. So Mel, I was on her podcast. I'm sorry, I was part of her audiobook, Kick Bleep with Mel. It was a #1 globally most downloaded audiobook back in 2019. I was chapter #3. I sat down right across from Mel in her studio in Boston. And she said, Marques, you are going to be a really, really good speaker if you learn how to master being inspirational through helping others get to where they need to go. And that's what really did it for me. You have to learn how to inspire the masses with stories, with real life experiences, and action steps. And Mel said to me, real simplistically, motivation is garbage, inspiration is life changing. Once I heard that from Mel Robbins, as she told me that in her studio in Boston, and I left that meeting, I left that interview, at that moment, my life changed for the better. So I owe Mel Robbins so much for who I am as a speaker and as a person today. Love her, her husband Chris, family. She's just a phenomenal human being.
Oh, she's awesome, and she's a fellow empty nester now too. So we have that in common. It's definitely a different change in life when you have your baby goes off to college. Um, so one of the things that you've hit on here a couple times is about action, and I like to say action is the enemy of failure. So we can think about doing something, we can think about our goals, but it's taking that step, that action to get to where we want to go that is crucial. So how do you stay motivated in doing those actions?
I stay inspired by remembering it's about taking action steps, moving forward, small ones every single day. Being in the NFL, I learned quickly it wasn't about having these big, giant steps. Coaches didn't want to see that. They want to see you get better every single day. This action step, that action step, apply this block, apply this concept, apply this movement. And once I learned that, I apply it in business. Same thing in life. Take small action steps forward every single day. When you do that, everything else will take care of itself.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I heard that this morning. Taking an inch is a cinch, right? Taking a yard can be hard. So it's just those little action steps that keep moving us forward. We need to remember that having a goal, a game plan, and those simple little things, whether it's communication or whether it's getting healthy or whether you want to play for the NFL, regardless of what it is, it's just taking little action steps to move forward towards the goal. Ultimately, it'll get you there. It's that compound effect.
You got it.
Awesome. All right. So, wrapping it up, wanted to ask you, I like finishing this way, is what are you oftentimes we talk about our goals, right? And the action steps leading to our goals. And yet we as humans, we won't celebrate what went right. There was a study out there, Harvard professor wrote on the board 10 different math problems, 9 of which he got right, the one he got wrong. And of course, the class, everybody focused on the one he got wrong and not the one that he got right. So I like to end focusing on a celebration. What did you get right? What are you celebrating today that you're willing to share with us?
I'm celebrating that I didn't let people stop me 11 years ago from speaking and starting my keynote speaking journey. So many people 11 years ago said I would fail, would not be successful. If I had listened to them, I don't know where my life would be today. So I celebrate that I actually stepped out of my comfort zone, started speaking when everybody pretty much told me I was insane. So that is what I celebrate today.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for your time here today. It was an absolute honor to chat with you. Is there anything else that you would want to share with our audience? How can they stay in touch with you? Because, we like stalkers. Being a public steeper, I like stalkers. So, how can people find you?
The best way is our app. You can go on your Apple or Android phone, go to your app store and type in MarquesOgden, and you can follow our app and you subscribe for free and connect with us, follow us. And again, our podcast, our website, but go download our free app, subscribe today, and follow us and check us out.
Oh, I love that. Again, thank you so much for your time here today. And so that's a wrap for today's episode of Breaking Bad Communication. Thank you for being here and tuning in. But before we sign off, don't forget to subscribe. And if you heard something that really resonates with you today, please share it, post it, tag a friend. Um, we want people to know, we want the audience to know that you can, overcome adversity. You can communicate effectively. No matter what somebody else tells you, you at the end of the day are the boss of the applesauce and you can have a life. Know this, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of communication. So as you head back into the world, remember every conversation is your chance to shape your life and the lives of others around you, whether it's a tough talk or a casual chat. Be clear, be intentional, and listen like it matters because quite honestly, it does. The better you communicate, the more your life aligns with what you truly want. So get out there, use your voice, own your worth, and make your words count. Giddy up.